Yo, what's going on, YouTube? And welcome back to Goal Line Hockey. It's your boy, Kevin Forsyth, and we are taking a look today at the latest on Claude Giroux. As he is, by the time you've probably watched this video, he has played 1,000 games in the NHL. Not only 1,000 games in the NHL, 1,000 games as a member of one team only, the Philadelphia Flyers. Now, this unfortunately sounds like a marriage that there's going to be a mutual breaking up, if is the best way I can put it here. As the Flyers are not a good team this year, and Giroux has a chance to, while his window is still open on an incredible season he's had this year, to go and chase a Stanley Cup, which, if he stays in Philadelphia, he will not have the opportunity to do that this year. So what are some of the destinations we've been hearing for Claude Giroux? We'll be going over that today. So a lot of this is going to be focused on two teams. The two teams that he has been linked to the most recently. And they're two of the most active teams right now in the NHL in terms of the trade deadline so far. We've already seen the Colorado Avalanche make a splash, bringing in Josh Manson. They moved out $2 million of cap space, bringing out Tyson Yost for a similar player on a shorter-term deal. And now they've been rumored for definitely looking at Claude Giroux. The other team, on the other hand, has also been making some trades. They moved out Frank Vatrano. They moved out some money in that deal as well. They brought in Ben Chiarot. So both these teams have been making trades where they're moving out depth pieces for cheaper pieces to acquire more talent, both bringing in defensemen already, and now they're both going to be vying up for Claude Giroux. So this is from Joe Sakic's side of things, from the Colorado Avalanche. Watch the Avalanche with Landeskog and Girard injured. I think that could open up some room for the Avs to do some things. And that was from Elliot Friedman last week. And there has been nothing short of that. So that may be a very bittersweet thing, for the Avalanches. Yes, they're going to be without two of their probably top 5 players on their team, and that is a stacked team to say the least. Your captain, Landeskog, and probably your best defenseman, maybe your second best, probably your second or third best behind Taves and McCarr, right? But that's a lot of money freed up, and like we said, they already used some of that, bringing in Josh Manson, moving out a guy like Tyson Yost. This allows them to definitely be a player for Claude Giroux, despite the salary cap implications. So that is something to look at. And this is from Pierre LeBrun. My sense is the Avalanche don't intend to be done. They still hope to further improve the roster. Believe they're still interested in Claude Giroux among other forwards. The Avs and Fleury will not be a match at the deadline. So it doesn't sound like Marc-Andre Fleury will be going there. The Avalanche have a lot of things they could look at as Claude Giroux is in the conversation. And this was from the trade deadline rumblings after Josh Manson was brought in. The Colorado Avalanche are not done after Josh Manson. They are still pushing for Claude Giroux. And that has been the sentiment to this point and hasn't really wavered to this point. So that is definitely interesting. Not too surprising. We've also heard the Florida Panthers, who have been linked to Claude Giroux. So this is from Elliot Friedman. The sense right now is that Claude Giroux's preference is to be traded to the Panthers. Again, the Panthers are in a similar boat. They moved out Frank Vatrano's contract. They brought in Ben Chiarot for a couple of assets, similar to what the Colorado Avalanche did, bolstering up their blue line with some big defensemen. And now they are also in the conversation still for Claude Giroux. So that is another one to keep an eye on. There's going to be some interesting developments here over the next couple of days, and that is a massive one. Claude Giroux, again, he's going to be playing his 1,000th game as a Flyer, and it's one of those things where usually when you're with a team for that long, and sometimes it only takes a year or two, that perfect marriage wears off, and what's the saying? It's not that you were bad, you were around too long to the point where you became the enemy because you were just there for too long. That never happened for Giroux. Even this season, I know Flyers fans are very, very, they're passionate. and very rough on their players. And I think that's fair because, it's what have you done for me to respect you? And if you haven't been good this season, well, why am I going to cheer you on? And the Flyers fans make that pretty poignant, but I think they realize what an impact Giroux has had on the Flyers. And I've looked at some recent things on Giroux that, the top 10 goals he's had, fans posting videos about him already. It's already a funeral for a guy that isn't even dead yet. And I think just that it's so frustrating. Again, it's best described as bittersweet because I know the Flyers fans really love Giroux, and the ideal situation is he leaves at the trade deadline, they get a first and a prospect and whatever other assets, and it probably is going to be a pretty nice package considering what Kalle Yarncroke just got was a second, a third, and a seventh. And look at what Ben Sherratt got: a first, a second, I think, or a first and a third, and a good prospect, and another draft pick. These guys are going for pretty expensive prices, and Giroux will not be any exception to that, and he'll probably get a lot more than what these guys are worth. So this is also from Elliot Friedman. I'm getting the sense right now Giroux's preference is most likely Florida. Not possible that he ends up in Colorado. Or not impossible that he ends up in Colorado, but sounds like slight edge still goes to Florida. So we already talked about that. So definitely an interesting development there. That is something to really consider here when you look at where Giroux wants to go, because he does have final say at the end of the day. Listen, if there's a trade between the Colorado Avalanche and the Philadelphia Flyers, the Colorado Avalanche and the Florida Panthers both vying for Claude Giroux, Colorado could be giving up 3 first-round picks and a second, and Chuck Fletcher saying, yeah, we're going to take that deal. But if Giroux wants to go to Florida ultimately, and they're only giving up a first-round pick, Chuck Fletcher has his hands tied. He can't force the Avalanche trade. He has to accept the trade with the Florida Panthers. So that's kind of what you're looking at right now. I think he'd be fine with going to either of those teams, trying to create a market between those two for him. But I think that's what we're going to see at the end of the day. As of right now, again, another player could jump in tonight or tomorrow before the deadline, and you see him end up going to the Rangers or the Bruins. But as of right now, the Florida Panthers and the Colorado Avalanche have definitely set their eyes to Claude Giroux, and we'll see what happens. My honest prediction, I do believe he's going to end up going to the Colorado Avalanche. I don't know why. I get this sense he will end up in Colorado. Guys, as always, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you again next time.